When he finally decides to give up everything and leave this city, the girl who promised to spend her life with him has no clue because she is currently busy with her first love. He watches the birthday candle burn out, closes his eyes, and makes a wish. From today on, he is leaving Liu Ruyan forever. The next morning, the deputy secretary calls him up. She says President Liu already signed his resignation without realizing it was him. She asks if she should tell her, but he just sighs and says no. He tells her to let it go. She begs him to stay, pointing out he's been her perfect secretary for 4 years. He just smiles. In this world, nobody is irreplaceable. His parents are sick, and he needs an arranged marriage. Since she approved his exit, he's moving on. He will hand over his work and leave in a month. Hanging up, he packs his bags in the villa where he lived for 3 years. He throws out almost everything. Looking at the empty room, memories flood back. 8 years ago, as a simple country kid, he got into a top university and became best friends with a rich heir named Liu Ruyan. They were from different worlds but clicked instantly. They did everything together. Gradually, he was introduced to his rich friend's entire high society circle. That is when he fell for his friend's sister, Liu Ruyan, but kept it secret. After graduation, he became her secretary. He just wanted to be near her. But one night she was drugged, and before he could call a doctor, she threw herself on him. After a passionate night, he woke up to see her sitting by the window in complete silence. She turned around and asked if he liked her, noting how he always blushed and remembered everything about her. Calling him out on taking the job just to be near her, she made him blush furiously. Then she handed him a card, calling last night an accident and saying her heart belonged to someone else. Telling him to take the cash, she wanted him to forget everything and not worry about taking responsibility since he was a commoner. That's when he remembered her whispering another name in bed. Lu Qingyu was her ultimate first love. This girl was so obsessed she waited for him despite his constant scandals abroad. But our boy Gu Nanzhi, he gathered his courage, told her he did not want her money, and begged for a real chance to prove his love. He promised to walk away if her first love ever returned. Facing his loving gaze, she hesitated, then coldly agreed. She said, "Suit yourself." From then on, he was her secretary by day and secret lover by night. They shared wild, hidden nights in her office and her villa. 4 years passed, and absolutely nobody knew. He accepted the crumbs gladly, but on her birthday, he waited all night only to get completely ghosted. The cold CEO actually posted a photo kissing her first love under fireworks. Honestly, that is brutal to watch. His heart shattered. He called her one last time, but her first love picked up, mocking him and asking who he was. Then her voice came through. She called him completely irrelevant. Ouch! That was his cue to leave. He packs his bags, but runs into her at the door. She does not even try to stop him. He tells her he is renting the old place for just 1 month. She frowns, demanding to know why. But before he can explain, she loses interest and insists on driving him because of the heavy snow. She claims his friend would worry if anything happened to him. Sitting in her car, everything feels completely different now. The cold interior is suddenly packed with sports car models, soft blankets, and flashy lights. It is not her style. A serious CEO like her would never customize a car like this. Noticing his confusion, she casually drops the bomb. She says her first love likes it. He silently congratulates her. That unexpected reaction stuns her. Halfway there, her guy calls wanting to build a snowman, and she instantly wants to go. She pulls over, eager to rush to him, but hesitates, looking at Gu Nanzhi. He tells her he will take a cab and steps out. She helps him unpack, but his hand slips. His box crashes to the ground, scattering letters addressed to her that he never had the courage to send. There are candid photos and items she threw away that he kept. He panics and starts cleaning them up, apologizing. She says nothing, leaving him stranded in the freezing snow. He tries walking home, but gets hit by a speeding scooter. The crash leaves a massive bleeding cut on his leg as the driver just speeds away. Shivering in pain on the freezing ground, he finally limps his way home through the storm. It takes him 4 hours to walk home. Bandaging his wounds, he checks his phone to find a text from her. She tells him to stop being so blindly obsessed because there are other women. He just stares at the screen. After sunrise, he goes downstairs and burns that entire box of memories. And just like that, 8 years of devoted love literally go up in smoke. He decides to give Liu Ruyan exactly what she wants, and after a quiet weekend, he shows up right on time Monday morning. Handling his tasks like any other day, he goes to remind her about an upcoming meeting, but through a crack in the office door, he stops. Inside, Liu Qingyun is holding Liu Ruyan close, feeding her a cookie he already bit in half, and honestly, seeing this is already crazy. This germophobic female boss actually smiles and eats it, even kissing his fingers as he brags about waiting 3 hours just to get her favorite sweets. When asked how it tastes, she sweetly replies that it is perfect, just as delicious and sweet as she remembers. The spoiled brat points out that she used to run across town for him, but now she's a big-shot president who shouldn't do it. He says she should just order her secretary to do it, but she gently strokes his face with absolute adoration, saying she only wants to do this herself. She refuses to let anyone else handle anything involving him, and right on cue, he pulls her in for a deep, passionate kiss. Witnessing this absolute betrayal, Gu Nanzhi freezes as a sharp, painful ache spreads deep inside his chest. Not gonna lie, this is low-key heartbreaking. Clenching his fists until his knuckles turn white and his palms bleed, he forces himself to calm down as the meeting time fast approaches. Knocking gently, he announces that the meeting is starting, which makes Liu Ruyan freeze and start to pull away from her lover. But Liu Qingyun pulls her back, begging her to stay, and this absolute manipulator instantly melts her heart into postponing the crucial meeting for 2 hours. Knowing this massive project involves top-tier partners and decides their company's entire future, he tries one last time to remind her of the stakes. Our main character warns her that all the big-shot corporate partners are already waiting, but Liu Qingyun just whines about how annoying this secretary is. The brat complains that Gu Nanzhi lacks any basic common sense, prompting the female boss to turn incredibly cold and repeat her order to delay it. She barks that absolutely no work is more important than her man, leaving Gu Nanzhi feeling completely suffocated. But he just quietly shuts the door and walks away. Everyone knows this woman is normally a terrifying workaholic who works right after major surgeries. Yet here she is, risking her entire business reputation and offending massive partners just for one guy. Talk about a double standard. This is a total first for her, making him wonder if she is truly that blinded by love as he tries to mask his pain. He steps into the room to apologize, but since the partners are too afraid to blame the powerful boss, they target him as their punching bag. He stands there taking the brutal heat for 2 long hours until she finally shows up, dragging his exhausted body out of the room afterward. Suddenly, Liu Qingyun blocks him, demanding that he brew coffee for the entire office because he heard Gu Nanzhi has great barista skills. He specifically demands iced coffee with 0 sugar, and knowing the guy is just flexing his power, our main character has no choice but to comply. Gu Nanzhi spends 2 painful hours brewing over 400 cups of coffee for the staff, serving them one by one. But get this. The moment Liu Qingyun takes a single sip, he throws the heavy ceramic mug straight at his head, leaving a nasty, bleeding gash. Groaning in pure pain, he collapses to the floor, clutching his head. But the unhinged villain is not even close to being done. He grabs another steaming cup of coffee and prepares to make things even worse. Shattered ceramic shards slice open his skin as hot liquid completely drenches his clothes, leaving him covered in painful bruises. Blood and dark coffee drip onto the floor while he curls up to survive, but the entire office just watches in absolute terrified silence. Nobody dares to step in to help him, but the loud commotion finally draws the female boss out of her office to investigate. Staring at the absolute chaos and her badly injured secretary, she frowns, while the toxic rival instantly shifts into a fragile, innocent victim role. He literally lies to her face, claiming Gu Nanzhi put ice in his drink on purpose, despite knowing he had a terrible stomachache. Believing the lie instantly, her face darkens as she barks at him for failing such a simple task after working together for 4 years. Looking up with a pale, bloody face, he tries to explain, but she completely cuts him off to call her assistant. She strips him of his salary and bonus, demanding a company-wide public apology, then immediately walks away to comfort her spoiled man. As they walk away, his tears finally fall, but he still has to force his bruised body up to clean the absolute mess left behind. A few kind colleagues step in to help him mop, looking at him with deep pity because they all heard what actually happened. They whisper that the rich kid explicitly asked for iced coffee and ask if he somehow offended this spoiled brat in the past. Others chime in that the guy is notoriously arrogant and throws tantrums constantly, but nobody dares to cross him because of the female boss.
They warn him to tread lightly, since they are just ordinary workers who can never compete with a wealthy heir backed by their boss.
With her backing him up, anyone else is just a helpless victim. Gu Nanzhi knows they mean well, but he is too numb to speak. He remembers a time when a contract went wrong because of the client, yet everyone blamed him for the entire disaster. Back then, despite all the intense pressure from the other company, Liu Ruyan stood by his side and fiercely defended him.
She fought so hard to clear his name, but now she believes a cheap lie from Lu Qingyun without even checking the facts.
Without even letting him explain, she blamed him for everything. After years of cleaning up her mess, Gufan did not get a single shred of trust. Did right and wrong even matter to her anymore? As long as Lu Qingyu was happy, nothing else did. Honestly, this realization absolutely broke Gufan's heart. It took him forever to clean up and drag his exhausted body home. But the second he finished washing up, Liu Ruyan called again, demanding stomach medicine and hand warmers. Gufan rushed to deliver everything to her villa as fast as possible. He had only been gone for 3 days, yet the sleek, elegant home he remembered was already unrecognizable. The peach tree that the old master planted with his own hands had been ripped out and replaced with imported tulips. The sophisticated black and white furniture was swapped for tacky pastel colors. Bright display cabinets were packed with jewelry, sports car keys, and expensive gifts. Everything screamed Lu Qingyu's style. Gufan silently stared at the changes before knocking on the bedroom door. Liu Ruyan finally opened it, grabbed the medicine, and actually looked at him. Now that the dried coffee was washed off, the brutal bruises on Gufan's face made her freeze. She asked if it was really that bad and if he had seen a doctor. Gufan just shook his head in silence. Pinching her temples, Liu Ruyan actually spoke softly, telling him not to take her previous anger to heart because she was just stressed. She promised to return his docked pay with his year-end bonus, and even told him to take a few days off without going through the usual company paperwork. Gufan wanted to tell her right then that he was officially resigning at the end of the month. But she cut him off by sliding a credit card over, telling him to behave and organize a massive welcome-back party for Lu Qingyu first. She told him to rest up for it, leaving his resignation speech completely stuck in his throat. He just nodded, took the card, and quietly walked out. As the front door shut, he heard Lu Qingyu calling out for Liu Ruyan to come warm him up. Her gentle reply was immediate, telling him to stay put. Hearing her treat another man with such rare tenderness, Gufan could only laugh at his own foolishness. He headed straight to the hospital to get his face patched up. After resting for a few days, the party planning drafts arrived. Lu Qingyu had ridiculous, ultra-strict demands for everything, from the specific flowers to the waiters' outfits. With only 3 days to pull this off, Gufan had to work himself to the bone. When 7 p.m. rolled around, the grand venue was finally ready. Lu Qingyu stepped into the spotlight wearing a ridiculously expensive custom suit. Immediately, the wealthy guests swarmed him, showering him with fake praise. They gushed about how he looked as glamorous as ever, and how this massive party proved Liu Ruyan's devotion to him had never faded. People started gossiping about how back in high school, when someone dared to confess to Lu Qingyu, Liu Ruyan completely lost her mind. She forced that kid to transfer schools, tore up every single love letter, and even beat up a bunch of thugs who dared to talk trash about him. Bro, she literally broke their bones. Everyone in their circle knew Lu Qingyu was her ultimate first love, an absolute favorite. People pointed out his jewelry, worth millions of dollars, and his one-of-a-kind custom suit, gossiping about how she would spend any amount to make him happy. Gufan stood in the corner, taking in every single word without saying anything. Suddenly, Lu Qingyu walked over with a smug, insufferable look on his face. He sneered at Gufan, saying the party was decent, but complained that the lack of carpets in the main hall had ruined his expensive shoes. He demanded Gufan bend down and wipe them clean. Keeping his composure, Gufan calmly offered to have carpets brought out from backstage instead. This minor rejection instantly made Lu Qingyu's face sour. Just then, Liu Ruyan walked in and rushed over the second she noticed his bad mood.
He whined to her, claiming that the secretary refused to wipe his dirty shoes because he was still holding a grudge over their last fight.
Liu Ruyan's gaze turned incredibly cold as she stared at Gu Fan, telling him that wiping shoes was literally his job as her secretary anyway.
She publicly shamed him, saying he should know how to do his job by now. Honestly, the crowd snickering in the background makes this so painful to watch.
Swallowing his humiliation, Gu Fan bent down and used his own sleeve to wipe the shoes clean. Lu Qingyu then dragged Liu Ruyan around the venue, intentionally torturing him.
The delicate fabric of the shoes collected dust with every single step, forcing Gu Fan to keep bending down until his back went completely numb. Still not satisfied, Lu Qingyu ordered a tray of drinks and waved Gu Fan over, demanding that he drink on his behalf since he was not feeling it. But Gu Fan was severely allergic to alcohol. Before he could even explain, Lu Qingyu immediately whined to Liu Ruyan, who knew about the allergy perfectly well. Yet, just to keep her precious darling happy, she casually told Gu Fan to just take his allergy pills first, so nothing bad would happen.
Her heartless tone made his stomach drop. Pale and shaking, he took his pills as the crowd swarmed them, forcing him to start downing glass after glass.
The toxic alcohol burned down his throat. Glass after glass, his stomach started violently churning, and a wave of intense nausea hit him like a truck. Dizzy and disoriented, his vision blurred as the entire room began to spin. Suddenly, through the ringing in his ears, he heard Lu Qingyu scream. He squealed that the expensive cufflinks Liu Ruyan gifted him were missing, pointing directly at Gu Fan and accusing him of stealing them. The shocking accusation snapped Gu Fan out of his stupor. He desperately protested, but Liu Ruyan just stared from Lu Qingyu's watery eyes to him. Seeing how drunk Gu Fan was, she hesitated, suggesting that with so many guests around, they might have just dropped somewhere. But Lu Qingyu threw a massive tantrum, slapping her hand away and screaming that those cufflinks were precious because she bought them. He accused her of protecting a thief and threatened to break up with her if she did not force a full body search right there. Panicking at his threat, Liu Ruyan instantly gave in and coldly summoned her security team. Before Gu Fan could even react, muscular bodyguards slammed him onto the floor. They began aggressively tearing at his clothes to search him. His mind went completely blank as they ripped his shirt to absolute shreds. Yuan Feng's clothes are ripped off, leaving his skin bruised and bloodied. Feeling totally humiliated, he begs for help, crying that he is innocent. It really wasn't him, but his screams only bring more brutal treatment. Liu Ruyan can't even bear to look. She is just about to call a stop when some waiters run over. They found the missing cufflink on the stairs. In an instant, every single eye in the hall locks onto that glittering, beautiful diamond cufflink. Liu Ruyan's tight frown finally relaxes, and she immediately waves her bodyguards to stand down. She personally picks up the cufflink and helps Lu Qingyun put it on, her voice softening as she tells him it's found and begs him not to be mad. Lu Qingyun finally nods with satisfaction. Glancing at the battered Yuan Feng on the floor, he hugs Liu Ruyan and sighs that he would have been sad forever. But your secretary suffered so much because of this, he says, so should I apologize to him? Suddenly, every single eye in the room falls on the disheveled Yuan Feng. Through his absolute agony, he hears Liu Ruyan's cold, heartless voice saying there is no need, since he is just a secretary, so a little suffering is no big deal. Those simple words pierce our guy's chest like a sharp blade, twisting his flesh into a bloody, painful mess. His battered heart feels completely torn apart, leaving him numb, hollow, and utterly broken, while his mind goes completely blank as the entire crowd silently clears out. Only the blinding cold lights remain, highlighting his horrific fresh wounds. Gritting his teeth against the pain, Yuan Feng crawls up to grab the jacket left by a kind waiter. He pulls it on and stumbles outside, completely ignoring the pouring rain as he steps right into the freezing storm. The freezing rain hits his pale face and slides down like tears, but the truth is, he is so hollowed out he cannot cry anymore. He wanders aimlessly through the dark streets, completely lost, until a sleek luxury car suddenly pulls up right beside him. The window rolls down, revealing Liu Ruyan's cold, beautiful face. "Get in," she orders, but our guy just ignores her, dragging his heavy body forward. Frowning, Liu Ruyan raises her voice, demanding he get in.
Yuan Feng finally stops, turning his deathly pale face to her. "Don't waste your concern." "President Liu," he says, "I am just a secretary." His freezing tone makes her heart skip a beat in pure shock. She flings the door open, stepping into the pouring rain to grab his hand tight. "I admit tonight was my fault," she says. "But I already lost Liu Qingyun once, and I refuse to lose him a second time. Whatever humiliation you suffered tonight, I will find a way to make it up to you. So please stop being angry with me." But this time, Yuan Feng refuses to play along. He breaks free from her grip and steps back. His voice is as cold as dead water. "You must be joking, President Liu. How could a nobody like me dare to be angry with elite nobles like you and Master Liu? I was just incredibly naive. To ever forget my place. From now on, I will remember my role. I am just a secretary, and I will never disrupt your life again. Are you satisfied? Can I go?" The more detached he sounds, the angrier Liu Ruyan gets. Her cold face cracks as she totally loses her cool. "You know damn well that is not what I meant." "I have never looked down on you. I only said those things to calm Liu Qingyun down. In my heart, you and Yuan Feng." But whatever she says next is completely lost. Our guy's vision blurs, his eyelids turning heavy as lead. With his remaining energy fully drained, his body simply gives out, and he collapses right there, losing consciousness completely. When he finally opens his eyes, he finds himself in a quiet hospital room. His wet clothes have been changed, and some medicine and warm water sit right next to him. The nurse, adjusting his IV, gives him a warm smile. "You are awake! Your girlfriend stayed by your side all night and just left." Yuan Feng opens his dry lips to whisper, "She is not my girlfriend. She never was, from the very beginning." Their bond was just an accident. Aside from his job as her secretary, she never acknowledged him. He used to foolishly dream of a future with her, but now he just wants to leave. A few days pass, and Liu Ruyan never visits, only having her assistant send a brief text telling him to rest up. Once fully recovered, he gets discharged. Meanwhile, the office group chat is absolutely blowing up with gossip. Everyone is talking about how Liu Ruyan booked Disneyland for an entire week just to celebrate Liu Qingyun's birthday, with massive fireworks lighting the sky for 3 days straight. She even took him to her family dinner to give him a precious heirloom jade piece, and she's even building a private ski resort named after him. Yuan Feng reads this with absolute indifference. He returns to the office, handling his work with absolute professionalism. From now on, whenever a task involves dealing with Liu Ruyan directly, he simply begs his colleagues to handle it instead. After a peaceful week, Liu Ruyan calls him in. As he tries to leave after delivering files, she stops him. "I have a meeting," she says, and Liu Qingyun hates eating alone. "You stay and keep him company." Yuan Feng freezes, but before he can refuse, Liu Qingyun demands some peeled shrimp. As Liu Ruyan shuts the door, Yuan Feng has no choice but to head over. But once he finishes peeling a whole plate, Liu Qingyun orders a massive tray of walnuts and jackfruit. He demands these fruits next, complaining there are no cracking tools around. "So just use your bare hands." Staring at the rock-hard shells and sharp thorns, Yuan Feng's heart sinks. He knows Liu Qingyun is doing this out of pure malice. But he has to comply. By the time the walnuts are cracked and the jackfruit is open, his hands are completely bloodied. Yet Liu Qingyun still isn't done. He orders him to the kitchen to fetch a boiling hot bowl of soup. The intense heat burns his raw hands, causing his grip to slip. The boiling soup spills all over him. In seconds, horrific blisters rise on his scalded skin. Our guy bites his lip to hold back his screams of absolute agony. Liu Qingyun laughs hysterically at his pain, but the moment the study door opens, his smirk instantly vanishes. "I heard you were highly capable," Liu Qingyun whines, "so why couldn't you even hold a bowl?" "But look, you spilled it and burned my hand." Terrified, Liu Ruyan immediately rushes over, grabbing Liu Qingyun to frantically check where he got hurt and asking if it is painful. Liu Qingyun shows her his barely reddened hand. Liu Ruyan instantly glares at Yuan Feng. "How could you be so careless? He's incredibly fragile and has never been hurt in his entire life." Liu Ruyan literally snaps at him for getting burned by a simple bowl of soup, telling him to stay away. Her face darkens as she scolds him, but then she sees Seeing his injuries, she can't even find any words. She just grabs Lu Qingyu to get treated, but halts at the door and coldly tells Nanzhi to follow. Enduring the agonizing pain, he gets in. On the way, Liu Ruyan drives like a maniac because her precious boyfriend keeps whining, which stresses her completely out. She keeps turning her head to check on him, completely distracted. Because of that, she fails to see a speeding sports car, and boom, the two vehicles collide. Nanzhi's body slams violently into the door, crushing his organs. Blood pours out, staining his vision bright red. Shivering from the cold, he barely manages to open his eyes. Through the cracked window, he sees Liu Ruyan dragging Lu Qingyu out as sirens wail in the distance. Half conscious, he hears two urgent paramedics saying the other man is just in shock. But the passenger in the back is bleeding out. His injuries are critical, and any delay in getting him to the hospital could be fatal. But she screams that they must save Lu Qingyu first. She refuses to let anything happen to him, completely ignoring the guy who is actually dying. Her frantic, incredibly selfish shout is the last thing Nanzhi hears before complete darkness swallows him whole. It feels like he is slipping into a deep, never-ending nightmare, and he does not even want to wake up. When he finally opens his eyes, his best friend Yunfeng is sitting right there, eyes completely bloodshot. Yunfeng gasps, saying he just landed in the country and heard about the horrible car accident. The doctor said you almost bled to death, Yunfeng says, terrified. Seeing his friend, all of Nanzhi's deeply buried grief suddenly overflows, and his eyes turn red. Nanzhi chokes back tears, whispering that he's fine. The two friends sit in silence for a long time. Yunfeng pours him some water, then tries to lighten the mood. He asks if Nanzhi has been happy here, if his sister bullied him, and when he can meet his girlfriend. He wants to make sure she treats Nanzhi right, jokingly warning that he won't approve of them being together if she is mean. Our boy freezes, quietly explaining that the president never actually bullied him, and that they have already broken up anyway. Yunfeng is completely stunned, not expecting things to end so fast. Fearing his friend might be heartbroken, Yunfeng quickly tries to cheer him up, promising to introduce him to tons of beautiful girls. But right at that moment, the door flies open. Liu Ruyan walks in with a cold face, classic toxic behavior, and snaps that he is strictly forbidden from introducing Nanzhi to anyone. Hearing her harsh rejection, Yunfeng pouts, telling his sister not to talk absolute nonsense. He argues that his friends are actually really decent people, not wild party girls. Yunfeng mutters that not everyone is obsessed with Lu Qingyu like she is, openly questioning why she is trying to control who his best friend dates. Hearing this, her temper immediately flares up. Fuming with anger, Liu Ruyan snaps that she said no, and she means it. She warns him that feelings cannot be forced, so he should not play matchmaker. Nanzhi smiles bitterly, thinking that indeed feelings cannot be forced. Tugging Yunfeng back, he calmly asks the president what actual business she has here.
Wait, the absolute nerve of this woman! Seeing that he is out of danger, Liu Ruyan secretly sighs in relief, but quickly changes her tune.
She claims she only came to pick up Yunfeng, who ran here straight from the airport, and was just dropping by to check on Nanzhi. Yunfeng promises to head home later and shoos her out, warning her not to give Nanzhi any more stressful work while he recovers. After pushing her out, Yunfeng turns back to Nanzhi. He tells him not to mind his sister's harsh attitude, claiming she actually cares. He mentions that when Nanzhi was clinging to life, she was the one who personally secured the blood transfusions to save him. Nanzhi is stunned for a moment, but quickly clears his head. He knows she only saved him because she did not want his death on her conscience. But if it came down to a choice between him and Lu Qingyu, he would always be the one abandoned. So why have any illusions left? He completely stops holding on to any hope. During his final days of recovery in the hospital, the nurses constantly gossip about the massive VIP suite upstairs. Apparently, the powerful female president rented out the entire floor and hired retired top specialists just to take care of her precious boyfriend. Nanzhi even saw her with his own eyes, personally serving Lu Qingyu drinks and buying endless gifts to make him smile. She even stayed up all night by his bedside. Honestly, this is so painful to watch. Hearing the gossip, Nanzhi touches his chest, feeling nothing but a slow, empty beat. It seems his heart is finally healing. On discharge day, Yunfeng gets held up by family drama, so Nanzhi reassures him and quietly slips out of the hospital, completely alone.
He heads back to the office for his final day, officially completing his resignation. But as he carries his box to the elevator, he runs straight into Liu Qingyu. Of course, Liu Qingyu deliberately spills coffee all over him, immediately playing the victim and screaming that Nanzhi ruined his clothes on purpose.
After staging this pathetic drama, he orders his bodyguards to force Nanzhi onto his knees at the entrance, but Nanzhi refuses to submit.
The absolute villain throws the rest of his coffee right into Nanzhi's face, sneering at his defiance. He brags that Liu Ruyan only cares about him and will always back him up no matter what he does to a worthless tiny secretary. He walks off arrogantly, leaving the guards to drag Nanzhi downstairs. Forced onto the freezing ground, Nanzhi struggles with all his might, desperately trying to reason with them.
He yells that he already resigned and is no longer the secretary, questioning what right they have to humiliate him. The guards remain completely cold, stating that President Liu ordered them to obey Liu Qingyu's every single command, no matter what.
They coldly tell him to save his complaints for the president, completely shutting down any chance of him fighting back.
Realizing it is pointless, Nanzhi stops struggling. All around him, colleagues and strangers walk by, whispering and pointing. Some even take photos. In the dead of winter, our poor lead is forced to kneel outside for 7 agonizing hours. His knees are scraped raw, and his face turns purple from the biting cold. Shivering violently, he is barely holding on to consciousness. Through the freezing haze, he suddenly hears a familiar voice calling his name. Forcing his eyes open, he sees Yunfeng sprinting toward him in sheer horror.
Why are you kneeling here right after getting out of the hospital? Who did this to you? My throat is too dry to speak, but we both know it was Liu Qingyun.
Hearing that name, Yunfeng loses his mind. He drags me straight to Ruyan's office and yells at Qingyun to stop pushing his luck. Why make him kneel? He's my sister's secretary, nothing to do with you. Who do you think you are, flexing on him like this?
Ruyan is inside and frowns at my absolute mess of a state. But before she can ask anything, Qingyun hugs her waist, pretending to be innocent.
He whimpers that he has no grudge against Secretary Gu, so why would he make him kneel? He claims he's being framed, and honestly, the audacity is insane. Yunfeng is absolutely done. He charges forward and punches Qingyun right in the face, screaming that Gu never lies. Of course, the White Lotus immediately starts crying. He cries to Ruyan that her secretary framed him, and now her own brother is joining in to bully him. Fine, they are a family anyway. Then he drops the ultimate threat. We are breaking up. Hearing this, Ruyan panics, her face turning ice cold as she stands up.
She slaps her own brother across the face. She yells at Yunfeng to stop throwing tantrums because Qingyun is going to be his brother-in-law.
Then she glares at me, warning me that if I slander him again, I am fired. Yunfeng just holds his cheek, completely shocked by his sister. I low-key regret dragging him into this mess, so I quickly pull him away. He still wants to fight, but I tell him I already resigned. When I drop the news that I am leaving the city for good, his anger vanishes, replaced by pure sadness. He cannot bear to see me go. Forgetting the fight, he begs me to stay. I just pat his shoulder and tell him that all good things must come to an end eventually. His eyes tear up instantly. On my last night, we grab one final dinner together, and he even stays over at my tiny apartment to drink. We drink, and I promise to text him every single day. I even joke that I will let him know the second I find a blind date. All night, we discuss our past, present, and future until dawn. At sunrise, he personally drives me to the airport.
Just as we are saying our emotional goodbyes, a text from Ruyan pops up asking where Yunfeng is. He gets so mad he tries to call her.
But I stop him right away. I tell him to just let the past be. There is no point in fighting with Qingyun anymore. At the end of the day, his sister truly loves that guy.
He is going to be his brother-in-law, so they need to get along. Hearing me say this, Yunfeng starts tearing up all over again.
All right, so boarding time finally arrives. I wave goodbye to my best friend, walk toward the gate, and send Ruyan one final message. 8 years of crushing and 4 years of acting like a fool, everything ends today. I am resigning, I do not love you anymore, goodbye. Without waiting for a reply, I block her on everything and step onto the plane. And honestly, this is the most satisfying payoff ever. Meanwhile, back at the house, Ruyan is drying her hair. She hears her phone buzz, but Qingyun quickly grabs it before she can reach it. He flashes a fake smile and offers to check it for her. Ruyan just giggles and lets him, totally wrapped around his finger.
Since he has her fingerprint registered, he opens my chat window and reads my final text. A look of pure disgust flashes across his face. With a quick swipe, he completely deletes the text. He always knew about my feelings, but to him, I was never even a threat. He figured it was just my unrequited love anyway. After all, everyone knows Ruyan is hopelessly obsessed with him, so why would she care about me? Believing she would never love anyone else, he deletes my text. Then he sees several important business emails and deletes those too, which is insane.
Just then, Ruyan walks over smelling fresh out of the shower and wraps her arms around him, asking what the message was about. Qingyun turns around to hug her back, tossing the phone aside while lying that it was just some spam message.
He whispers to forget about it and focus on him. Ruyan completely buys it, nodding as they head straight back to bed. The next morning, her phone keeps ringing and ringing, completely ruining her sleep. Annoyed, she finally reaches over to grab it. She looks at Qingyun sleeping beside her, wondering why anyone is calling since there should be no work scheduled today. Picking up, she coldly asks what is going on, reminding her assistant that it is the weekend. Her other secretary panics, explaining that the business client sent an email yesterday and are already waiting in the conference room. Ruyan is instantly wide awake. She sits up to change, yelling that she never received any email about an important meeting like this. She rages, demanding to know why Secretary Gu did not notify her. She barks out orders for Gu to come pick her up immediately.
Assuming Gu is just throwing a tantrum, the assistant nervously drops the bomb that Secretary Gu has already resigned.
No shot. This is wild. Ruyan completely loses it, screaming into the phone, demanding to know when she ever approved his resignation. She demands he get back to work immediately because she never signed off on his departure. She is screaming so loud she wakes up Qingyun. Ruyan is absolutely furious that Gu would dare to leave her over such a minor misunderstanding. She believes she could just make up for his hurt feelings later, but leaving without a word? That totally crosses the line.
The assistant on the other end is trembling in fear. Just then, Qingyun wraps his arms around her waist, acting all sleepy.
Seeing him, her anger softens slightly. She tells him to go back to sleep while she rushes to save her business deal. But Lu Qingyu does not care and clings to him, begging Liu Ruyan to stay in bed because it is still early. Those sweet words make Liu Ruyan melt. Remembering last night, he lets Lu Qingyu pull him back to bed, wasting another 30 minutes to coax him to sleep. By then, his phone is blowing up with missed calls from his secretary. He rubs his tired eyes to reply. He tries to reschedule the meeting to the afternoon, but the assistant replies that the client already left and the deal is completely dead. Staring at Lu Qingyu's sleeping face, Liu Ruyan feels it is too late anyway. But remembering a weird warning, he checks his empty email inbox. Finding nothing, he remembers Lu Qingyu holding his phone last night. He opens the trash folder, turning pale as he grits his teeth at the deleted emails. These crucial business emails were sent last night when he was busy. The only person who touched his phone was Lu Qingyu. This was no accident.
Lu Qingyu knows nothing about business, yet he deleted important corporate emails. Losing this massive deal means the company loses millions in profit.
Liu Ruyan wonders why Secretary Gu did not remind him of this meeting. Usually she prepares everything beforehand. He actually thinks she is throwing a tantrum.
Furious, he dials Secretary Gu to interrogate her, but it goes straight to voicemail. Over and over, the cold automated voice makes his chest tighten with panic. He rushes back to the trash folder and finds a deleted message from her sent last night. He clicks it, completely unprepared for the shock. The words sting his eyes. 8 years of secret love and 4 years of absolute absurdity are finally over. She is resigning and will never love him again. She wrote that they should part ways forever. Honestly, seeing this final goodbye, an unexpected wave of heavy silence fills the room. He should feel relieved that she is finally letting go, but actually facing the harsh reality of her departure, his entire world suddenly goes quiet. An intense, suffocating pain grips his chest. It feels like he just lost the most important piece of his life, leaving him completely breathless.
Memories of their past flood back. 4 years ago, a sudden accident ended up with them in bed together for the first time. Back then, he only cared about Lu Qingyu. He tried to pay off Secretary Gu, who was his brother's friend, never intending to start a relationship.
but her bright, cautious eyes made it impossible to push her away. Soon they were sharing secret, passionate moments in every corner of his life for 4 long years.
She was his perfect secretary and his perfect lover, never demanding a single thing. She silently accepted everything, content with having absolutely no official title.
Liu Ruyan always thought she was foolishly naive, giving him her entire heart for a tiny shred of kindness. Talk about a tragic female lead, guys.
He constantly warned her never to dream of a future together because he only belonged to Lu Qingyu. But now that she is gone, he feels empty.
Why is he not happy? He stares at her message for a long time before trying to shrug it off. If she wants to leave, let her. This is how it should be. He puts his phone down and holds Lu Qingyu close, desperately trying to suppress the nagging guilt growing inside his chest. He cancels work for days just to pamper Lu Qingyu, buying him flashy luxury cars and expensive jewelry. Yet the heavy emptiness inside him only grows worse. He is constantly irritable, but Li Qingyu is too busy shopping to notice. While waiting for him, Liu Ruyan cannot resist checking his phone yet again. He opens his old chat history with Secretary Gu. The last message was from a month ago, right before Lu Qingyu returned and took over his life. On a sudden, desperate impulse, his fingers move to type a message, arrogantly telling her she can come back to work whenever she wants. But his text is blocked by a bright red exclamation mark. She actually blocked him for the first time ever, making his hands shake with sheer disbelief.
He stares blankly at the screen until Lu Qingyu returns, happily suggesting they go see the auroras tomorrow while wrapping an arm around his tense shoulders.
Liu Ruyan quickly locks his phone, pretending everything is fine, but he can no longer enjoy the affection. He tells Lu Qingyu he must leave tomorrow. He needs to return to the office because work is piling up, promising to spend more time together once he handles the corporate crisis.
As president, he has endless major decisions waiting for him. Squeezing out these few days to play was already pushing his absolute limits.
Meanwhile, his company has been bleeding money. Lu Qingyu frowns, clearly unhappy, but insists on tagging along to the office with him anyway. Lu Qingyu promises to help, and that sweet smile makes Liu Ruyan feel a bit better, temporarily pushing Secretary Gu out of his mind. The moment they arrive at the office, frantic employees surround them with urgent reports on their massive financial losses and canceled partnerships. The situation is critical, and to make things worse, they also hand him a stack of resignation letters from their top talent. A whole batch of senior staff are preparing to walk out. Liu Ruyan's face darkens. He was only gone for a short while. How did everything fall apart so fast? Furious and overwhelmed, he slams the folders onto the ground, screaming at his staff for being completely useless. He rants about how they lost millions in just a few days, demanding to know why they could not even keep the clients happy until his return. The entire room falls dead silent. Finally, an assistant nervously whispers that all of these tasks were always handled by Secretary Gu. He instinctively opens his mouth to call her in, only to remember she resigned. His face turns completely black as he glares at them.
He snaps, asking why they cannot do what she did, but nobody dares to answer. For 4 years, Secretary Gu carried this entire company alone.
Breaking the tense silence, Lu Qingyu giggles and tells Liu Ruyan to relax. It is just one secretary, and he claims he can do better. He promises to take over the workload so Liu Ruyan can rest, which instantly brings a relieved smile to the president's face. He thanks Lu Qingyu and orders the staff to obey him from now on. Oh man, this is going to end horribly. Once Ruyan leaves to handle some urgent files, this toxic villain drops his act and slaps the other secretaries. He sneers and accuses them of trying to seduce her, which is honestly so unhinged. The terrified secretaries hold their cheeks and quickly protest that they were just doing their jobs. But this guy literally calls security to drag them out so they can never step foot inside again.
Then he puts on a fitted white shirt, purposely leaving his collar open to show off his hickeys.
He knocks and enters Ruyan's office, immediately grabbing her hand to make his move. But Ruyan is completely stressed out by all the work and tells him they need to focus first.
Ignoring her, he leans over her chair, whispering that work can wait while sliding his hand down her collarbone.
Ruyan completely folds here, pulling him down by his collar for a passionate kiss. They end up messing around until noon, leaving Lu Qingyu covered in marks, while Ruyan finally checks her watch.
She gets highly annoyed that lunch is late, realizing Gu Nanzhi never would have let that happen. Calling them up, she demands an explanation, but hears that Liu Qingyu fired everyone. The secretary basically says they do not have Gu Nanzhi's infinite patience to tolerate this abuse.
When a confused Ruyan asks about Gu Nanzhi, the secretary just sighs, sends a file, and hangs up.
And get this, the file contains absolute proof that Liu Qingyu fabricated every single mistake. Ruyan is horrified as she reads, realizing her innocent secretary suffered so much because of her blindness. Her heart drops looking at the evidence, while Liu Qingyu just sits there, completely clueless.
He lazily complains that he's hungry, totally unaware that his little game is finally over.
She slowly turns to look at him, her eyes completely filled with cold disgust.
He tries to call her name, but Ruyan coldly demands to know why he did this.
When he acts confused, she completely snaps and screams, asking why he framed Gu Nanzhi.
Liu Qingyu is startled, but literally shrugs it off, saying he was just a secretary anyway.
He shamelessly reminds her that she was the one who said he was just a secretary.
This reality check completely drains Ruyan's anger, and he tries to hug her to make up.
Instead, she is flooded with memories of Gu Nanzhi's suffering because she kept hurting him instead of trusting him. Thinking about how heartbroken Gu Nanzhi must have been, she literally starts to suffocate and pushes Liu Qingyu away.
She tells him to eat alone, leaving him staring at her in absolute shock.
He is furious that she actually pushed him away for a secretary who already resigned.
His petty drama peaks as he asks if she wants to run back to her ex-secretary.
These harsh words hit a nerve, leaving her drowning in a wave of sudden regret.
Gu Nanzhi is gone, which is what she thought she wanted, yet she feels completely broken.
She sends him away, and after he storms out, she is left alone with a massive headache.
Skipping lunch entirely, she buries herself in mountains of work to numb the emotional pain. Working straight into the night, she realizes most of their recent crises were caused by Liu Qingyu. Cleaning up his mess literally drained all their profits, and she collapses back in her chair.
Staring into the dark, she checks her phone only to find total silence and overwhelming loneliness.
In the empty office, she quietly whispers Gu Nanzhi's name for the first time since he left.
Just saying his name out loud breaks a dam, and memories of him flood back instantly.
No matter how late they worked, he was always there, keeping her entire life organized.
She remembers their intimate moments by the office window and how purely he used to look at her.
Finally realizing what she lost, she panics and immediately calls her younger brother for help. Every ring feels like an eternity, and the second he answers, she desperately begs for answers. She asks where Gu Nanzhi is, but her brother just scoffs at her sudden change of heart. Desperate for a fix, she promises to make Liu Qingyu apologize so Gu Nanzhi can return. But her brother shuts her down, saying Gu Nanzhi is gone and she will never find him again. Liu Yanfang hangs up. Silence. As the line goes dead, absolute regret and helplessness crush his chest. He screams, slamming his phone onto the floor.
Suddenly, the office door swings open. Liu Ruyan instantly springs up. She thinks the person she desperately misses is finally back. But hope instantly dies. It is not Gu Nanzhi who walks in. It is Liu Qingyu, who clearly heard her blurt out that name. Why must a mere secretary always get in his way? He cannot understand it. Glaring at her, his expression turns ugly.
Seeing Liu Ruyan look so devastated, he absolutely hates this. Why is it always Gu Nanzhi, he demands? Do you actually love him?
She stays dead silent. Realizing the person entering is not her beloved, her mind is completely elsewhere. He is completely ignored.
This only fuels his anger. Blinded by rage, Liu Qingyu screams hysterically that Gu Nanzhi is nothing but a cheap secretary.
A useless loser. He rants that he knew Nanzhi had dirty motives from day one, demanding to know if she forgot her promise to only love him.
He asks if she has fallen in love with him. Facing Liu Qingyun's relentless interrogation, her mind is a total mess.
But Liu Qingyu is used to getting his way. The cold shoulder only fuels his burning hatred for the male lead. In a rage, he snaps.
He starts throwing everything off her desk. He screams that she is in love with Nanzhi. Finally, Liu Ruyan's patience completely snaps.
There is zero affection left in her eyes. Honestly, about time she opened her eyes. She cannot understand why she ever tolerated someone so toxic.
She fires back, red-eyed. Yes, she loves Gu Nanzhi. She demands to know if he has any idea of the damage he has caused lately.
Now that the floodgates are open, her fury is unstoppable. Stepping closer, she yells that he got rid of all her secretaries.
He went behind her back to delete crucial work emails from her phone, causing major business partners to pull out of their contracts.
She gave him authority in the company, but he used it to bully and abuse the employees, driving them to threaten mass resignation. She demands to know if he has any idea how much money he cost her. She could have overlooked that, but why force out Gu Nanzhi? He forced Gu Nanzhi away. His constant framing drove Nanzhi to leave, and she boldly admits she is deeply in love with him.
During the years Liu Qingyun was gone, Gu Nanzhi was the one who stayed by her side. Her furious roar completely terrifies him.
He stammers that Nanzhi is just a secretary. He is nothing. But before he can even finish, Liu Ruyan swings her hand. A brutal slap rings out. Honestly, that hit felt so satisfying. Liu Qingyun is left in absolute shock, gasping at her actions. He cannot believe she struck him over a secretary, but his pathetic whining does absolutely nothing to stop her now.
She looks at him with pure disgust. No more mercy. Grabbing his wrist, she winds up and delivers another heavy slap.
His face swells up instantly. Her eyes burn like ice. She tells him the pain Nanzhi suffered was 1,000,000 times worse. She demands he beg for forgiveness. Every ounce of her previous affection has completely vanished. At this point, she finds Liu Qingyun utterly repulsive, deeply regretting how much she did for him while constantly hurting Gu Nanzhi. Her terrifying expression fills him with pure dread. He has never seen her like this. She used to pamper him and give him everything. Now, Liu Qingyun's eyes are filled with venomous hatred, wishing he could tear Gu Nanzhi to shreds. Liu Ruyan catches his nasty glare instantly. She hates herself for not seeing his true colors sooner and letting Gu Nanzhi suffer. With a chilling smile, she decides to make him pay.
She grabs Liu Qingyun, dragging him out. Terrified by her raw fury, he completely throws away his pride and begs. He struggles desperately, but he cannot break free. Dragging him to the doorway, she has her bodyguards pin him down.
"Kneel until tomorrow," she orders. She ignores his pathetic begging and storms off, her mind now entirely filled with thoughts of Gu Nanzhi. This loss makes her realize her foolishness. Seriously, why do they only regret it after losing them? For 4 years, she was totally dependent. Why did she have to lose him to finally feel this crushing regret? Inside her car, she frantically tears out all of Liu Qingyun's decorations. She throws out every single thing Gu Nanzhi would have hated. The ornaments, the seat cushions, and even the snacks. She wants it clean.
Yet, no matter how hard she looks, this car holds absolutely no memories of her past with Gu Nanzhi. Not a single trace remains.
Heartbroken and furious, she trashes the car completely. After venting her rage, she takes another vehicle and speeds back to the villa. But even the villa has been completely redecorated to Liu Qingyun's tastes. In just 1 short month, he managed to erase 4 years of history.
Standing inside, she cannot even breathe. The eyesore decorations feel like daggers stabbing into her heart. She desperately searches for anything he left behind, even a scrap of clothing. But there is nothing, and her despair peaks. In a panic, she smashes everything in sight. She is terrified of closing her eyes because his face haunts her. She remembers the day she watched him pack. She did nothing to stop him. Now she screams in agony, wishing to undo the past.
Sitting alone in the cold villa, she weeps all night. She desperately tries to cling to the fading warmth of his memory. At dawn, her assistant arrives. He gently reminds her that it is time to head to the office where young Master Liu waits.
Looking up with bloodshot eyes, her grief hardens into pure hatred. This is all Liu Qingyun's fault. She drives to the office.
All right, so peak morning rush hour at the office, and everyone is arriving when Liu Ruyan pulls up. Suddenly, everyone stops. Right there in the corner, the villain, Liu Qingyun, is pinned to the ground by bodyguards, looking absolutely wrecked after kneeling all night. He is literally about to pass out. But the worst part? Everyone is watching him fail.
And this clown is just boiling with rage toward Gu Nanzhi, screaming hysterically, "This is all your fault! Why did you seduce Liu Ruyan? Why do you not just go die, you shameless piece of garbage?"
Honestly, his screaming just disgusts everyone, and Gu Nanzhi's friends step up. But Liu Qingyan just snaps. "You brainless fools!
You guys are only defending him because he paid you off." But right then, Liu Ruyan arrives and the crowd parts like the Red Sea.
She looks at him with pure disgust, but this guy thinks she is his savior, crawling over and grabbing her leg.
Ruyan, they are bullying me because of Gu Nanzhi, but she just folds him with a brutal kick. She asks if he is still going to play the victim. She knows everything now, how he framed Gu Nanzhi and ruined her company. Did he seriously think she would just let it slide? Liu Qingyun hits the floor, looking completely shocked. Ruyan, how could you do this to me?
"You are supposed to love me!" But Liu Ruyan drops a massive truth bomb. "The only person I love is Gu Nanzhi."
I was just completely blinded by your lies before, but I finally know my own heart now. Get out, because we are totally done." His eyes go wide as he realizes his free ride is over, but then he just bursts into this crazy, unhinged laughter. He screams that he was not the one who drove Gu Nanzhi away. It was her. Did she really think he did not know her dirty secrets? She hid their relationship for 4 whole years, then dumped him the second Liu Qingyun showed up. Talk about a plot twist that leaves everyone speechless.
Liu Ruyan's face instantly goes dark, but Liu Qingyun has nothing left to lose and mocks Gu Nanzhi anyway. "He was willing to be your secret lover, Ruyan. You saw him get hurt and still chose me, so who really destroyed him?" "It was you, Ruyan." At this point, her face is pure rage, and she clenches her fists. This villain still refuses to learn.
She orders her guards to drag him away and throw him right into her basement. Talk about instant karma. Now she forces him to experience every single torture he put Gu Nanzhi through, starting with holding boiling hot bowls with his bare hands.
His hands are blistered red, and he has to kneel all day. Even if he passes out, he continues.
She does not even look at him once because she is totally focused on her real priority, winning Gu Nanzhi back.
She knows her only hope of tracking him down is her little brother, Liu Yuanfeng, so she heads straight to his place and knocks.
The second Liu Yuanfeng opens the door and sees her, his smile instantly turns into pure disgust. "What are you doing here?"
She tries to play nice with tons of gifts, asking if he knows where Gu Nanzhi is so she can finally apologize.
But Liu Yuanfeng just scoffs. "Oh, so now you want him back? Did you forget how terribly you treated him before? You chose that trash Liu Qingyun over him every single time, and now you want him back? It is way too late for that."
She begs him for Gu Nanzhi's location, promising she will protect him and never let anyone hurt him again.
She actually tries to gaslight him, saying that since they are best friends, they can all hang out once they get back together.
Bro, he immediately shuts that down. He tells her that he only cares about Gu Nanzhi's happiness, with or without her.
You broke his heart 1,000,000 times and expect a second chance? You literally told me Liu Qingyun was my brother-in-law.
She is completely speechless, but he is not done. Remembering all the pain Gu Nanzhi went through makes his blood boil.
He mocks her even harder, reminding her that she literally hit both him and Gu Nanzhi just to protect her trash ex.
Saying you are sorry now is just pathetic. Honestly, he is living his best life abroad without you.
That truth absolutely crushes her, and she completely swallows her pride, begging her brother to believe she has changed. She claims she punished Liu Qingyun and begs him to tell Gu Nanzhi she is sorry. He loved her for 8 years. Surely he will forgive her after 8 whole years? She starts spiraling, eyes watering, but her brother just finds it hilarious.
This is low-key embarrassing. He asks how she can bring up those 8 years when she treated him like literal dirt.
You treated him like a convenient tool and a pet you could just toss away whenever you felt like it. You completely destroyed his love, and now that he is gone, you expect a magical fix? It does not work like that. Overwhelmed with regret, she actually drops to her knees and begs him for just one final chance to see him. She promises she will never bother him again if he rejects her. For the first time ever, she is begging.
She is literally kneeling to her own brother just to chase after the man she threw away. This is wild.
Seeing his proud sister sink this low catches him off guard, but he still refuses to betray his best friend, though he sighs and says, fine, I can help. Her brother says if Gu Nanzhi is actually willing to meet, he will give her the address. Honestly, she was already losing all hope. But Liu Ruyan's eyes instantly light up as she nods eagerly. Meanwhile, her brother sends Gu Nanzhi a text about it.
Since there is a massive time difference, he tells his sister to go home and wait, but Liu Ruyan flat out refuses to leave. She stubbornly stays at her brother's apartment, sleeping on the couch and waking up at every tiny noise, desperately hoping for news.
Finally, the next evening, her brother gets a reply from Gu Nanzhi. He has actually agreed to meet up with her. Those few words give Liu Ruyan so much hope. She truly believes this means there is still a chance for them to fix things.
Excited and desperate, Liu Ruyan immediately books the very next flight. Her younger brother pulls her back with a worried frown. He begs her to rest first, since she hasn't slept in days, promising Gu Nanzhi won't break his word. But she just shakes him off.
She cries out that she has been missing Gu Nanzhi day and night, and now she only wants to see his face again.
Her brother is completely speechless. Watching her run off, he sighs. Honestly, she totally brought this on herself.
But she doesn't hear him. Her mind is completely consumed by Gu Nanzhi, and her heart is just racing with excitement the entire time she's on the plane.
She can't even rest, constantly worrying if he has lost weight or if he's running out of money. She literally assumes he must be miserable without her. Just thinking about him softens her heart. Memories of their past start flooding her mind.
Back then, Gu Nanzhi had a naive secret crush on her that she saw right through, yet she completely ignored him because of her ex, Liu Qingyu.
Even after they accidentally spent a wild night together, she still didn't value him. When he finally confessed, she rejected his heart, but kept using his energetic body.
They ended up in this secret relationship, and since Gu Nanzhi was always so obedient and never caused trouble for money, she found him absolutely perfect for her.
That was her main excuse to keep him around. If her ex, Liu Qingyu, hadn't suddenly returned, she probably would have kept him as a secret partner forever. But when did she actually fall for him? Was it his hard work, his sweet nature, or did she just take him for granted? She really can't tell. Those 4 years went by way too fast, and she got completely hooked on his love before she even realized what was happening. But she realized her feelings way too late, driving him away. Now, she is determined to do absolutely whatever it takes to get his forgiveness.
She won't keep him as some hidden bed partner anymore. This time, she wants to proudly announce their relationship to the entire world.
She is ready to marry him and spend her entire life making up for all the pain she caused. Honestly, she's already smiling just imagining him back. She is absolutely bursting with joy. She cannot wait to see him again. After an agonizing 8-hour flight, she finally lands and rushes straight to their agreed meeting spot, which is a quiet little cafe. She walks in and Gu Nanzhi spots her right away from his corner seat. A single month apart felt like an entire year of pure torture to her. Seeing him there feels completely surreal. Back when he was her secretary, he always wore formal suits, looking totally serious and proper all the time. But now, in casual clothes with messy hair, he looks exactly like that sweet, innocent boy who used to secretly adore her from afar. She forces a smile. Long time no see, Gu Nanzhi. She tries to hold back the urge to hug him. But Gu Nanzhi is cold. No sweet reunion here. He only wants to clear the air. Before he can even finish his coffee, she desperately cuts him off, admitting that she was completely wrong and totally messed up in the past.
She begs him, saying she let Liu Qingyu hurt him, but she finally realized that Gu Nanzhi is the only one she truly loves. She looks at him with hopeful eyes, but Gu Nanzhi doesn't even flinch. He just gives her a cold, empty smirk and says, "Too late, Liu Ruyan."
He tells her he doesn't care about her apologies or her love anymore and gets up. She completely panics and grabs his hand. Terrified of losing him, she panics, crying out that they still have a future together, and she has already punished Liu Qingyu for what he did.
She asks if 4 years of love vanished in just 1 month. She even begs him to hit or yell at her instead. She practically begs him to come back, but Gu Nanzhi just shrugs her hand off coldly, saying that 1 month finally opened his eyes.
He wishes her a happy life with Liu Qingyu and turns to walk away. Honestly, watching her get completely shut down like this is so satisfying. In her mind, he was always head over heels in love with her, so seeing him totally checked out like this throws her into absolute panic. When he first left, she kept telling herself he still loved her, but hearing his cold rejection now feels like a knife stabbing her chest. She refuses to let go, her proud ego completely shattered as she starts crying, begging him not to treat her this way, and promising she will do better. She promises they can marry immediately and go public, offering him his secretary job back or letting him stay home while she makes all the money. She's practically offering him everything she owns, swearing that no matter who appears, she will never let anyone hurt him ever again. She begs for one last chance, arguing that their long years together shouldn't end over one mistake. Honestly, if he had heard this in the past, he'd be thrilled. This was the woman he loved for 8 whole years, after all. But after everything she did with her ex, his heart is completely dead. That 8-year bond is completely gone, and looking back at those memories only makes him hate how foolish he used to be. Nanzhi finally realizes he wasted way too much time on Liu Ruyan. He takes a deep breath and firmly pries her hand off, telling her they have no future. He tells her this is exactly what she wanted anyway. He always promised to step aside the moment her beloved Lu Qingyun returned, and he is just keeping his word. Nanzhi admits he once hoped she would develop real feelings and actually choose him over Lu Qingyun, but he was completely wrong about her. Seeing his cold face, Liu Ruyan panics, feeling like she is truly losing him. She starts sobbing and begging for the first time in her life. She desperately grabs Nanzhi, begging him to give her one more chance to make things right, but our boy does not even look back. He walks away, leaving her completely in the dust. She sits frozen in that coffee shop until the very end of the night, utterly lost and clueless. The crushing regret hits her like a truck. The more it hurts, the more she realizes how much Nanzhi meant to her, and she threw him away. She plays the what-if game in her head. What if Lu Qingyun never came back? Or if she realized her feelings sooner, before hurting Nanzhi? Honestly, this is the ultimate too little too late moment. She knows there is no going back as she wanders the cold foreign streets alone. Suddenly, a massive storm hits and lightning flashes. Everyone runs for cover, but Liu Ruyan just wanders aimlessly through the pouring rain, completely drenched and having nowhere left to go. She keeps whispering Nanzhi's name. When her phone finally rings, she eagerly checks it, but it is only a text message from her brother, Liu Yuanfang. Her brother tells her to come back home. Looking at the screen, she feels completely hollow, wondering how things between her and Nanzhi fell apart. She collapses in the freezing storm, crying and screaming as the rain drowns her out. Eventually, she stumbles all the way to Nanzhi's apartment, only to find the door tightly shut. This is the only place she feels safe. Too scared to knock, she curls up on the cold floor and passes out from complete exhaustion and fever. She dreams that Nanzhi finally forgives her, and they return home together. But this time, she promises never to let him down or break his heart. In her dream, they announce their relationship and she proposes to him while he embraces her with tears of absolute joy. A faint smile appears on her sleeping face. But reality quickly strikes. She wakes up with a splitting headache, her body completely frozen and unable to move as she slowly opens her eyes. Staring up at an unfamiliar ceiling, she struggles to sit up. Suddenly, a familiar and gentle voice echoes, telling her to stay still because he is right there. Recognizing that voice, Liu Ruyan throws all caution to the wind, bolting up and throwing her arms tightly around Nanzhi as he sits by the bed. She holds onto him like a priceless treasure, crying and begging Nanzhi to forgive her, promising to spend the rest of her entire life making things right. She sobs hysterically, telling him she cannot live without him as intense regret floods her heart. But Nanzhi's cold voice instantly cuts her off. He tells her he only did this for Yuanfeng. If she died right outside his door, her brother would be absolutely devastated. Nanzhi frowns and coldly pushes her out of the embrace. Looking closely at his face, she realizes there is no warmth left in his eyes, only pure, stinging disgust that absolutely shatters her heart. Her face turns pale, hands frozen in the air. She stares blankly at him like he is a beautiful dream she can never touch again.
She croaks out his name through her tears, but Nanzhi remains completely cold. He tells her he already called Yuan Feng to pick her up and demands that she never show her face here again. He says he is doing perfectly fine without her. The second she chose Liu Qingyun, their relationship was permanently over, making her suffer with every harsh word he speaks.
She stares at him. He is standing right in front of her, yet he feels 1,000,000 miles away, completely out of reach. She asks if they truly have no chance left.
Looking at her with total indifference, Nanzhi delivers the final blow. He looks her straight in the eye and tells her they are completely and absolutely done for good. It feels like a knife straight to the chest. She tries to reach out and touch his cheek one last time, but Nanzhi coldly brushes her hand away without any hesitation. Her eyes are completely red as she breaks down in tears. Soon, her brother Yuan Feng arrives, rushing over the absolute second Nanzhi called him to explain the entire situation.
Nanzhi's face softens when he sees Yuan Feng. They sit down and chat for a little bit before it is finally time to say goodbye.
Yuan Feng feels incredibly guilty, apologizing for being soft-hearted and letting his toxic sister come find Nanzhi to cause all this unnecessary drama. But Nanzhi just kindly pats his shoulder, telling him it is fine. He explains that even without his help, Liu Ruyan would have tracked him down. Ripping the bandage off now is honestly for the best. Still, Yuan Feng feels absolutely terrible. He looks over at his sister, who is standing quietly in the distance, holding back her tears while desperately staring back at Nanzhi.
He hesitates, then asks Nanzhi if things would have been different and if they would still be together if Liu Qingyun had never showed up.
Honestly, even Liu Ruyan is holding her breath for this answer. Nanzhi just smiles softly, admitting he used to wonder about that exact same question too. But he realized that even without Liu Qingyun, someone else would have ruined them. Her love is just a reaction to losing him.
It is only after losing him that she regrets it. He smiles with relief and says they would not. No one asks why, because they already know.
Yuan Feng takes his heartbroken sister back home. Meanwhile, their family business is bleeding money, and she is in no state to run anything. With Liu Ruyan completely checked out, the poor brother has to step up and handle the massive corporate mess she left behind. Luckily, he studied business management abroad, so he's not completely clueless. But just as he gets to work, he uncovers some crazy secrets about her ex. Before officially diving into the work, Yuan Feng hands his sister an envelope of photos, telling her he did some serious digging on her beloved first love while she was away.
Liu Ruyan opens it to find dirt on Liu Qingyun. Turns out her precious ex never actually studied abroad. Instead, he was just playing around the entire time. He spent his days getting funded by rich older women and leaving a trail of broken hearts everywhere he went. Talk about a total fraud. He is completely different from the sweet guy she thought she remembered. She tries to remember who he even was, but realizes she can't even recall his old face. Talk about a brutal wake-up call. Years apart completely killed her sweet memories. Now she only sees Gu Nanzhi. His smile is permanently burned into her mind. But what about the next decade? Will he forget her like she forgot Liu Qingyu? The regret is real, but she did this to herself.
She knew his crimes, yet she blindly defended him in the name of love.
Talk about a massive fumble, pushing her real protector away for a total fraud. She quietly thanks her brother, then forces a small smile. A hard slap to her own face shocks her brother. It swells instantly. Swallowing the taste of blood, she apologizes. Yuan Feng is left speechless. He sighs, tells her to just stop being reckless from now on. He even jokes about her finding a new guy, but she stays silent. She knows there is no replacing Gu Nanzhi. Swallowing her tears, she heads to the basement. Down there, Liu Qingyu is miserable. Every bit of his torment is returned tenfold. He shivers in the dark. Then the door finally swings open. Seeing her, he scrambles forward like a desperate dog, grabbing her leg. He begs for mercy, swearing he will stay away from Gu Nanzhi.
He promises to disappear forever, sobbing like a pathetic wreck.
She stares down at him. His fake charm is completely gone. Why on earth did she sacrifice her life for this absolute trash? She wants to shred him, but she knows she was the blind one. She throws the photos right at him, making his eyes widen in horror. Total devastation. Those images hold the dirty secrets he tried to bury. He only crawled back because his life abroad fell apart. He frantically denies everything, claiming Gu Nanzhi is framing him.
He is literally losing his mind, screaming that Gu Nanzhi made it all up. Delusional as hell, he starts shouting about his fake prestige and great job. He breaks down sobbing. This nightmare shouldn't be his life.
Honestly, he did live like a king, using his looks to leech off wealthy women.
They covered his mistakes, but eventually, everyone got sick of him.
With no degree, he bought a fake one, failed, and sold his body. Once his reputation was ruined, he fled back, hoping Ruyan would save him. But karma always collects. He is left begging on his knees. Ruyan just watches him exhaust himself before coldly telling him to get out. He can't believe his ears. He stares up in absolute shock.
She tells him they are done. That old spark is completely dead. Her heart belongs to someone else, leaving him with nowhere to go.
She walks away. The open door and unknown future terrify him.
He stumbles out of the mansion. Nobody cares where he goes.
Ruyan finally takes back the company, letting her brother breathe easily. A year passes. Yuan Feng gets a surprise text from Gu Nanzhi. He's invited to fly over and be the best man at a wedding.
Hearing this, Ruyan freezes. She tries to act casual, asking if it's true.
She knew he had a new girlfriend, but this is moving fast. Her vision blurs. She hears his gentle voice on the speaker. Gu Nanzhi says he found the right one and won't wait anymore. Yuan Feng packs up, asking if they plan to settle down overseas. That heartless guy did not even come visit me, he laughs, quickly packing his suitcase and waving to Liu Ruyan. Waving as he leaves, her brother is finally gone. She stays completely silent until his voice disappears. Dropping her papers, her heart aches. Watching her beloved marry someone else? Absolute emotional damage.
She weeps uncontrollably. Then, another year passes, and her brother gets married too.
The male lead returns to be his best man. Liu Ruyan has not seen him in ages, and she cannot stop staring. Wedding toasts start. When they reach the male lead's table, her brother grins, welcoming him warmly. Liu Ruyan nods. Cold, calm. She reaches out, clinking her glass against his.
That crisp clink echoes. She has so much to say. How is he? Is he happy?
But all those impulses instantly die when his wife walks up. Honestly, this moment is low-key heartbreaking to watch. The male lead smiles, explaining his pregnant wife cannot drink. Her brother is utterly shocked by the baby news. Are we not brothers, he jokes. The male lead laughs, saying it has only been a month. Her brother immediately claims the godfather spot. The couple shares a sweet, gentle moment. Out of the four, only Liu Ruyan is a complete outsider. The best closure? Becoming total strangers. Her heart breaks. She raises her glass, whispering congratulations on his happiness. She downs the bitter drink, then quietly slips away. As a breeze blows, the male lead looks up. Her spot is empty. He is dazed, then smiles. His world is right here.